Welcome back to Air Design Answers. I'm Chris.
And I'm Todd. Thanks for joining us for another episode.
Today's topic is one that I think gets overlooked all the time. And honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons homeowners call us during the summer and tell us they're uncomfortable even though their air conditioner is running. You hear comments like, the house feels sticky, or the thermostat says 72, but it doesn't feel like 72. Sometimes people tell us they're waking up uncomfortable at night. Sometimes they say one room feels damp while another room feels okay. And almost every time, the first assumption is that the air conditioner must not be working properly. What's interesting is that a lot of those systems are cooling exactly as designed. The thermostat is satisfied, the equipment is running, the temperatures look normal, but the homeowner still isn't comfortable. And that's where humidity enters the conversation. The reason I wanted to do an entire episode on this topic is because humidity problems are probably one of the most misunderstood comfort issues we see. People understand hot, people understand cold, but humidity is a little trickier because you can't necessarily see it. You just know something feels off. And unfortunately, a lot of homeowners end up spending money chasing the wrong solution because they don't realize humidity may actually be the problem.
I think that's exactly right. Most homeowners have a thermostat on the wall, so naturally that's what they focus on. If they're uncomfortable, they look at that number and start making adjustments. If 74 feels uncomfortable, they turn it down to 72. If that doesn't help, they go to 70. Before long, they're running the system harder, using more electricity, and still not getting the comfort they're after. One thing we've learned over the years is that comfort and temperature are not the same thing. You can have two homes sitting side by side, both at 72 degrees, and one feels fantastic, while the other feels miserable. Same temperature, completely different comfort level. Usually, humidity is one of the biggest reasons. And honestly, once homeowners understand how humidity affects comfort, a lot of things start making sense. Suddenly, they understand why lowering the thermostat didn't help. They understand why certain rooms feel damp. They understand why the house feels muggy after it rains. So today, we're going to talk about what humidity actually does, why some homes struggle with it, and most importantly, what can actually be done to fix it.
Let's start with the basics, because I think this is where most homeowners get tripped up. When people say they're hot, they're usually talking about one of two things. Either the temperature is genuinely too high, or the humidity is preventing their body from cooling itself effectively. The easiest example is outside. Think about an 85-degree day with low humidity. Most people would say that's pretty comfortable. Now think about an 85-degree day with extremely high humidity. Suddenly, everybody is sweating. The air feels heavy. You walk outside and immediately feel uncomfortable. The temperature didn't change. The humidity did. The same thing happens inside your house. Your body naturally cools itself through evaporation. When humidity levels are high, that process becomes less effective. The air is already holding a lot of moisture, so your body can't cool itself as efficiently. As a result, you feel warmer than the thermostat would suggest. I've actually had homeowners tell me their house felt like it was 78 degrees. Then we checked the thermostat, and it was sitting right at 72. The temperature wasn't the issue, the humidity was.
And one thing I've noticed is that homeowners describe humidity in all kinds of different ways. Some people say the house feels sticky. Some say it feels damp. Some say the air feels heavy. Others tell us they can't get comfortable no matter what they do. I remember one homeowner who said, "It feels like I have a wet blanket draped over me all day." Honestly, that's not a bad description. Humidity changes the entire feel of a home. Another thing people often notice is sleeping discomfort. They may be comfortable during the day, but miserable at night. They wake up feeling sweaty. The sheets feel damp. They keep lowering the thermostat trying to get relief. What's interesting is that many of those situations aren't temperature problems at all. I've seen homeowners drop the thermostat 4 or 5 degrees and still complain that they're uncomfortable because the humidity never changed. That's why understanding humidity matters so much. If you're trying to solve the wrong problem, you're never going to get the result you're looking for.
Another clue we see all the time is condensation. Sometimes it's obvious. You'll see moisture forming on windows during summer. Sometimes you'll notice condensation around supply registers. Other times you may find moisture forming on pipes in a basement. Those are all signs that moisture levels may be higher than they should be. Then there are the smells. If you've ever walked into a home and immediately noticed a musty odor, humidity is often part of the equation. Now, that doesn't automatically mean mold is present. It doesn't automatically mean there's a major problem. But excess moisture creates conditions that allow those odors to develop. And honestly, homeowners often become nose blind to it because they live there every day. We walk in and notice it immediately.
The other thing I think is worth mentioning is how humidity affects perceived comfort throughout different areas of the home. You may have one room that feels fine and another room that feels damp. Maybe the basement feels uncomfortable. Maybe the upstairs feels stuffy. Maybe certain areas seem worse after a rainstorm. Those clues matter because they often help identify where moisture is coming from. And that's where the conversation starts shifting away from the air conditioner itself. Because while the air conditioner plays a role, many humidity issues originate elsewhere.
This is probably the section that surprises homeowners the most. People assume that if the house feels humid, the air conditioner must not be doing its job. Sometimes that's true, but many times the air conditioner is actually working exactly as designed. One of the biggest examples is oversized equipment. We've talked about this before, but it deserves repeating. When an air conditioner runs, it does two primary things. It cools the air and it removes moisture. The moisture removal process takes time. If a system is oversized, it cools the house quickly and shuts off before it has enough time to remove significant amounts of moisture. So the thermostat is happy, the homeowner isn't. I've actually seen situations where a homeowner upgraded to a larger system, expecting better comfort, and ended up with worse humidity problems. That's incredibly frustrating because from their perspective, they spent a lot of money and got poorer results.
I've seen the same thing. A lot of homeowners think bigger means better because that's how many products work. A bigger truck can tow more. A bigger engine can produce more power. But HVAC doesn't always work that way. Proper sizing matters. And honestly, comfort is usually better when equipment is sized correctly rather than oversized. Another issue we see all the time is duct leakage. Most homeowners never think about their ductwork. They think about the thermostat. They think about the outdoor unit. They think about the electric bill. Very few people think about the duct system hidden above ceilings, inside walls, and in attics. But if that duct system is leaking, it can create all kinds of problems. Imagine pulling hot, humid attic air into the system all day long. Now the equipment has to work harder just to overcome that extra moisture load.
Air leakage throughout the house can be another major contributor. Every house leaks air. That's normal. The question is, how much? If humid outdoor air is constantly entering the home, the HVAC system is fighting a battle that never ends. I've been in homes where the humidity problem wasn't caused by the equipment at all. The issue was the building envelope. Gaps around plumbing penetrations, attic bypasses, poorly sealed access points, door seals, window leaks. All of those things can contribute moisture. Individually, they may seem small. Collectively, they can become a significant issue.
Then you've got basements and crawl spaces. Honestly, I think homeowners underestimate how much those areas can affect the rest of the house. Let's say you have a damp basement. Maybe there's minor moisture intrusion. Maybe there's no visible standing water. Maybe everything seems mostly okay. That moisture doesn't stay trapped down there. Air moves. Moisture moves. Eventually, it affects the living space. The same thing happens with crawl spaces. A humid crawl space often translates into a humid home. That's why we always tell homeowners to think about the house as a complete system rather than a collection of separate parts. Everything influences everything else.
And we haven't even talked about lifestyle factors yet. Long showers, cooking, indoor plants, drying clothes indoors, large families generating more moisture, poor bathroom ventilation. All of those things can contribute. Sometimes there's not one single cause. Sometimes it's 5 or 6 smaller factors combining to create a larger problem. And that's why proper diagnosis matters. Because replacing equipment doesn't automatically solve any of those issues.
So let's talk solutions. The first thing I want homeowners to understand is that humidity problems are usually fixable. The key is identifying the actual cause. Too often, people jump straight to equipment replacement because it feels like the obvious answer. Sometimes that's necessary. Many times it isn't. One of the most effective tools we have today is a whole home dehumidifier. These systems are specifically designed to remove moisture from the air, and the comfort improvement can be dramatic. I've had homeowners tell me they thought they needed a new air conditioner, only to discover that humidity control was the missing piece all along.
I can think of multiple homeowners who immediately noticed the difference. One customer told us the house felt comfortable for the first time in years. Not colder, comfortable. That's an important distinction, because the goal isn't necessarily lower temperatures. The goal is better comfort. Another solution is improving the building itself. Air sealing can make a tremendous difference. Reducing unwanted air infiltration helps limit the amount of moisture entering the home. Sometimes relatively small improvements can produce surprisingly noticeable results.
Duct repairs can also be huge. Again, most homeowners never think about duct work, but we've seen comfort improve dramatically after addressing leakage issues. It's one of those hidden problems that can quietly affect performance for years. And if you're replacing equipment, make sure somebody is doing proper load calculations. Don't assume bigger is better. Don't assume what was there before was correct. Take the time to size the equipment properly. That decision affects comfort for the next 15 to 20 years.
Ventilation also deserves attention. Modern homes are tighter than ever. That's generally a good thing from an efficiency standpoint, but tighter homes sometimes need better ventilation strategies. Fresh air management and humidity control often go hand in hand. The right solution depends on the home. That's why cookie-cutter answers rarely work.
And ultimately, that's probably the biggest takeaway from today's discussion. Humidity isn't always an air conditioner problem. Sometimes it's an airflow problem. Sometimes it's a duct problem. Sometimes it's a moisture problem. Sometimes it's a house problem. The goal is finding the source rather than guessing.
If your house feels sticky, damp, muggy, or uncomfortable, even though the thermostat says everything is fine, don't automatically assume you need a bigger air conditioner. There may be something else going on. And often, solving that underlying issue leads to better comfort, better efficiency, and lower operating costs.
This was a great topic because it's something we encounter all the time, especially during the hottest and most humid parts of the year.
Absolutely. And hopefully today's conversation helps homeowners understand that comfort is about more than just temperature.
If you're dealing with humidity issues, pay attention to the clues your house is giving you. Musty smells, condensation, sticky air, uncomfortable sleeping conditions, those things are worth investigating.
Thanks again for listening to Air Design Answers. We appreciate everyone who's been following along and sharing the podcast with friends and family.
We're having a lot of fun doing these episodes, and we hope they're helping homeowners make better decisions about their homes and HVAC systems.
We'll be back next week with another episode.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Take care.